I'm binding off my blanket, and up to this point it's been knit on 3.5mm needles. But in order to make the bind off work, I experimented with needle size and discovered that I needed to bind off on a 3.75 needle, so a little bit looser, otherwise my edge would be too tight. I just experimented at the start of the round to see if that was an appropriate needle size. So rather than working the final round in its entirety, this project was actually on 5 40 or 48-inch needles, and I don't have the same number of circular needles in the next size up. I'm actually working the round on a single double-pointed needle. I'm going to use this single double-pointed needle to work the entire round, and I'm using alternating colours just to give a really pretty edge. So I double knit using my two colours until my double pointed needle is full of stitches. I'm going to stop here now, but normally I would go until the needle was full. Then I slide the needle through the stitches until the stitches are at the right hand end. Then I take my crochet hook and bind off by slipping 2 stitches onto the crochet hook and hooking the second one through the first. I don't usually go right to the end of the needle. I like to leave 4 or 5 stitches on my double point and then return that last of the bound off stitches to that needle before bringing it back to position to begin knitting the next section. The reason for this is if I bound them all off, I would end up stressing that area and it might look slightly uneven. Now I can resume knitting the next section until the needle's full and slide it through again and continue my bind off at that end. Now that I've reached the end of my bind off, I'm going to finish this edge off. So there's my last stitch remaining after the bind off, and I've cut my yarn, and now I can very gently pull that tail through. I can make a very neat join between the end of my bind off and the beginning of my bind off by sewing this peachy coloured thread around the base of the first bound off pink stitch, so trying not to split the plies of anything else, and then darn that directly back into the pink stitch, and with a minor adjustment you won't actually be able to tell where the bind off edge begins and ends. Obviously I need to do a bit of massaging here, and I now realise what I should have done before beginning this bind off round is actually slip a few of the stitches of the next round to the right hand needle, then begin my bind off here and finish my bind off here. That would eliminate having 4 ends in one spot, and it would have been a little bit neater. That's the sort of thing that I'll add into the pattern so that that doesn't trip you up. Anyway, this is the end of about 6 months knitting on this blanket, and it's been fun.